Illinois opened as 1.5 point favorite over UConn, and it eventually moved to 2.5 at this point. So apparently a lot of people in favor of Illinois early in this matchup. Currently, Illinois is favored by 2.5 on FanDuel. Going to be a very interesting matchup, the way these two teams have matched up. The reason that these two teams matched up earlier this season, of course, UConn walked away with a 13-point victory. However, I do not think these are the same teams at all by any means. Keaton Wagler was nowhere near the type of contributor that he is now. Mrkovich for Illinois was playing huge minutes in that one. 18 minutes. I say huge minutes. 18 minutes. Their second most minutes that game was actually Ben Hummerkaus, who came off the bench. And yeah, he's still getting good minutes right now, but he is not getting second most minutes on the team or anything like that anymore right now. So this is an Illinois team that is changing. Quite frankly, UConn has changed in some ways as well. Terrace Reed being more involved in his playmaking, or not playing, his rebounding ability and stuff like that. So these are not the same teams that they were before, and this is going to be a very interesting matchup. Of course, we will talk more about this a little bit more into the week, but if you want to hear me talk more about this game, talk more about the difference, talk more about UConn and all those things, head on over to Talk Illini. That is the On3 Illinois channel over there. Me and Sonny Verma, who is a part of Locked On Illini, we get together and kind of give our thoughts on everything Illinois over there. Sometimes just me, sometimes just Sonny, sometimes it's us together. So quick little shameless plug there. Like, subscribe to the Big Ten Huddle, and also like, subscribe to Talk Illini. You can also find Talk Illini on podcasting platforms and things like that as well if you are listening on podcast. 5-star rating and review as well if you're doing that. All right, anyway, that's enough of my advertising for this situation. All right, let's talk about this matchup and why I think Illinois is going to get the win here over UConn. Pretty surprising. Illinois is the higher favored team, albeit by 1 point over UConn, especially with UConn getting the win early on against Illinois. But I think it just goes to show how much this Illinois team has changed. And yeah, UConn has gotten better, and they're spectacular in the tournament and everything like that. But this Illinois team has just continued to improve, get better this season. Brad Underwood has done a fantastic job with adjusting the team. The willingness to go with Stojakovic off the bench was something that everybody was kind of perplexed by, like, oh my gosh, is he transferring? What's going on here? I mean, he still could transfer. We did a show on how it might happen. So, nobody's saying that he's not going to, but he looks much more excited right now. Obviously, he's going to the Final Four. Who wouldn't be excited? And it looks like, Brad Underwood is trusting him more as really the spark that comes off the bench. It's not just like, hey, get in there. Let's see if we can get some offense to happen. Brad Underwood is relying on Stojakovic right now to come off the bench, to be the guy when it's 12-2 against Iowa. They can just put him in the game and let him go out there, let him eat, let him get to the basket, get to the free throw line. And Stojakovic is so good at getting to the basket and everything that he does. So he's going to be a huge part of this game as well. We will talk about the defense here in a little bit, especially with Stojakovic. I think that's something we have to mention a little bit later on. But I am very, very impressed with this Illinois offense right now. They have retaken the top spot in KenPom. Purdue had it there for a little bit. Illinois has retaken it, and they continue to be just a historic KenPom offense. Number one there. They lead the nation with 131.8 adjusted offensive rating. The average 83.8 points per game while shooting over 46% from the field and nearly 35% from three. On the season, UConn right now ranks number 28, and they allow opponents to score pretty efficiently out there as well. It's a UConn team that's good and is very much so coming into their own against NCAA tournament competition. So those numbers are a little bit skewed because they came from, the entire season together. I'd love to see what KenPom numbers are for just the tournament and stuff like that. I know you can do that with Bart Torvik and stuff, but I'd like to see it with KenPom just because of the consistency of using all that stuff. But overall, this Illinois team, even though they have not been spectacular on offense, that's kind of the scariest thing with them, right? They just had their worst 3-point shooting game of the season, and they beat it, and they beat the team in the Elite Eight by 12. Now, albeit it's Iowa, Iowa is only a 9 seed, but Iowa still beat Florida. That Iowa still beat Nebraska to get there. And Iowa really improved their front court defense, their defense in the paint. But Illinois was able to, obviously get by guys, get to the basket. And also they went to Thomas Slavovicic late in that game against Alvaro Figueres to be able to back him down, get to the basket, make some things happen. Also the playmaking to be able to, pass into the basket and things like that as well. It was much more crisp from an Illinois team who didn't try to force the three-pointer too much. And that's one of the reasons why I am so excited about this Illinois offense, is because obviously you have the offensive rebounding, which helps a ton. This is a fantastic offensive rebounding team in Illinois, number 3 in the nation here on Ken Palm, and UConn allows 28.6% offensive rebounding rate, which is 87th in the nation. So I'm not saying that UConn can't stop Illinois from the offensive rebounds, but I do not think this is the toughest test that Illinois has seen all season to be able to get offensive rebounds. And so they should be able to get those, even if Illinois doesn't have a great three-point shooting day. I don't think they should try to go 17.6% like they did against Iowa. But even if this team goes, say 30%, 32% from three or something like that, I still really like the opportunity they have here, because in addition to not relying on the three too much, this is also a team that is getting to the basket a whole lot more, trying to get to the free throw line. Now, they don't get to the free throw line a ton, 33% free throw rate, 257th in the nation, but UConn also fouls a lot and puts the other team on the line a lot. They are outside the top 300 in free throw rate on defense. So a situation here where Illinois, even though they have not done a great job of getting to the free throw line, they have an opportunity here going up against this UConn team who could foul a little bit more and could get Terrace Reed in some foul trouble as well. I think that's going to be a huge thing that they're going to have to try and do in order to get the win here as well. And that goes into my reason number 2, which is the dominant rebounding and creating second chance opportunities for Illinois. I think that was one of the issues that Duke had against UConn in that one. They were not able to rebound as well down the stretch and obviously create those second chance opportunities for themselves, as they were relying so much on Cam Boozer and everything else. I think this is an Illinois team that's not going to become over reliant on that, and it's a team that can rebound all across the board, all across the team. Illinois holds a 10.3 plus rebounding margin, 41 rebounds per game, with David Mrkovich grabbing 8.1 boards per game, enabling the offensive rebounds and physical interior play. I remember when David Mrkovich came to Illinois, everybody thought, Balkan, European guy, he's going to be soft down low. And I watched that tape and I told everybody, I said, look, he's not soft. I know he's playing against European guys and everything out there, but this is a dude that loves to bang down low. This is a dude that loves to get down there, be physical, go after the boards. And that's what David Mrkovich has been for Illinois this season, especially coming into his own a little bit later on. And the playmaking ability and things like that, I'm sure we'll talk about that later on. The playmaking ability of David Mrkovich has been huge for this team as well. So moving on to number 3, tournament tested defense at its peak, I think, shuts down UConn's half-court sets. And I think that the rebounding of Illinois is going to be huge to force UConn into these half-court sets that they've not been as good at. UConn has done a good job of getting out into transition this season, and that's really helped open up their offense and make things better for them. You get them into the half-court sets, they're not as good. And I think with Illinois' rebounding ability, they should be able to force UConn into more of those half-court sets. Now, obviously, UConn is going to try to get out and transition more, do some of those things, but Illinois has been so good this season at being able to crash the boards and also not get into bad situations where teams get out in transition and just kind of punish them that way. Now, it's not to say it hasn't happened at all this season. It's happened some, but it's not happened as much as you would think with how much Illinois crashes the boards to try and get down there and get the offensive rebounds. I think that's going to be huge. Testament to Cam Crocker with what he has done, because that defense starts right away when the other team gets the ball down there. They get the rebound, the defensive rebound. You're playing defense right away. I think Cam Crocker, his presence has been felt much, much more with this team in the NCAA tournament. Honestly, it's been the defense that's won them a couple games in the tournament with some poor shooting they've had against Iowa, some poor shooting they had against Houston. They were able to really do a good job of playing some good, solid defense that kept Iowa under 60 points, kept Houston under 60 points as well. Back-to-back games, keeping the other team who has, first-round draft picks, lottery picks on their team, and Bennett Sturts and Kingston Fleming And that, to me, that's huge that you're able to keep guys like that from not even scoring 60 in the NCAA tournament. It's huge, and it's a guy like Andre Stojakovic. It's a guy like Kylan Boswell for them to be able to work together. Andre Stojakovic basically shut down Bennett Sturts in the second half, and I think that you could definitely see him do more of that in this game. I think you might see a little bit more zone possibly because of Terrace Reed and the impact he has, but even if they do that, I feel pretty confident in this Illinois defense to be able to match up and probably go to zone. Maybe you can get to the matchup zone and then eventually match up in a man halfway through the shot clock, which they sometimes do. I just feel really confident in this Illinois defense right now and what they're able to do. And I don't think UConn does anything, I'm not going to say they don't do anything special. Obviously do special stuff, but nothing like so special that, it would be terrible for Illinois or anything like that. All right. Number 4, I think the star versatility and depth outmatch UConn's limited scoring threats, in my opinion. Look, Keaton Wagler, 17.9 points per game, shooting over 40% from 3, over 4 assists per game. He leads, the Balkan block, the Balkan 5, whatever you want to call him at this point, of multi-positional scorers, guys who can play multiple different positions, who can guard multiple different positions. You're looking at a team with a whole lot of length, and Illinois with their star threats, their star abilities. David Mrkovich as well. You watch that game against Iowa later on in that game. It was a lot of playmaking from David Mrkovich to be able to get the ball to Tomislav Visic, to be able to drive and penetrate into the paint. He is a matchup threat. He is a guy that if you put somebody too small on him, he's going to bully him. You put somebody too big on him, they're not going to have the feet to stay with him. And he's a very gifted passer as well. I don't think David Mrkovich has been getting enough credit nationally. Of course, he's been getting credit for, Merc Madness and being what the most interesting man in the world, as a lot of people out there are calling him, but I don't think he's getting enough credit for his actual play on the court. I think Keaton Wagler obviously is getting a lot of credit, and that's deserved. I'm not trying to take anything away from Keaton. I'm just saying that I think David Mrkovich has been huge for this team with the playmaking, the ability to take some pressure away from Keaton Wagler as well. And I think that's going to be huge for them, as UConn loves to pressure the ball and everything else. And so if you can get it in David Mrkovich's hand, you try to pressure the ball too much against him, and he's going to make you pay. Obviously, Keaton Wagler make you pay as well, but definitely a guy like David Mrkovich with the matchup issues he presents is going to make you pay. And then finally, reason number 5, just the superior overall metrics. There's going to be a bit of a home court environment here for Illinois, and the evolution this team has had ever since November. I don't know if a team if there's a team in the nation that has improved to the level that Illinois has at a contender level, right? I mean, obviously other teams have improved, a lot of really good coaches out there, but teams who are contenders, I don't think another team has improved as much as Illinois has this season. Of all the teams in the Elite Eight, probably the only team that I think has maybe improved as much as Illinois. Maybe Michigan out there, Arizona to a certain extent, but they've also had some deficiencies this season that I don't think they've really done. I don't want to say they've not done a whole lot to correct. Obviously, they've been a great team this year, but I just think that Illinois is the type of team who has corrected a lot of issues, and some of the issues they're having now in the NCAA tournament are being fixed by things that people weren't sure if they were going to be able to fix, right? The poor shooting that they've had in the tournament, they've been able to fix with really good defense, getting to the basket, doing those type of things that people didn't think Brad Underwood would do. People, had Brad Underwood as one of the worst coaches in the Sweet 16, and he's come out here and he's outcoached. He's outcoached the Houston coach, Kelvin Sampson. He outcoached Ben McCollum in that game. He's just done a fantastic job this season, and we really got to give Brad Underwood, coach of the Illini, a lot more credit for what he's been able to do. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you're watching on YouTube, what's your score prediction for this game? You think I'm right with the 5 reasons? Do you have reasons that you think UConn might come away with this one here? Listen, should be very, very respectful of UConn. UConn's been a fantastic team. Dan Hurley is a fantastic coach. Hopefully he doesn't headbutt any refs in this. Well, if you're an Illinois fan, hopefully he does, but it's just not painful for the ref, right? But, that was also a situation I think people were saying that he was being like buddy with his ref there, which I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't be buddy with refs, in my opinion, but it is what it is. So